Hi, today we're going to be making embroidered cards as part of our kids' crafts. Inside, you'll find all the materials that you'll need. You have your cards, your string, and your needle. Today we're going to work on the top card, so you can set the other one aside and do that later. The first thing that you'll want to do is maybe get a piece of cardboard, or if you're on a rug, you can do this on the rug too. But we need to poke holes at each of the vertices. That means each of the points. I started with the middle, and then I just made the dots all around. It can be difficult to do, and you might not be able to do it with the cardboard. So you could try tilting your paper up a little bit and then poking the needle through that way. Now you can go ahead and put holes in all the rest of the picture. Now you're ready to go ahead and start embroidering your card. The first thing you'll want to do is thread your needle. Go ahead and take the end of your thread and just thread it through the eye of the needle. That's the little open hole at the top. Sometimes it can be difficult. You could decide to wet the tip of the thread with a little bit your mouth or a little bit of water, or you can use a thin strip of paper and fold it into there. You'll want to pull out a few inches of thread so that as you embroider, you don't lose the needle off the thread. Then go ahead and make sure that there aren't any knots in your thread. So today we're just going to be doing a straight stitch. We're going to bring our needle from the back of the paper, from the middle of the largest star, and pull it through, leaving an inch or two at the bottom. With that tail, you can either tape it down or you can choose to just hold on to it. Just don't lose it as you start your straight stitch. With that straight stitch, once you've pulled that through, you're going to put the needle at the top hole and just go ahead and pull it through. Make sure that you are paying attention so you don't get any knots in your string. At first, your string's going to be very long and it will be kind of difficult to handle, but after a while it's going to get shorter and much easier. Then you're going to want to take the needle and put it back through that center hole and pull the thread all the way out. Again, making sure that you're paying attention for any knots. Once you've pulled that through, hold on to the string, pull it a little tight, and then we're going to put the needle through the hole directly below that. And go ahead and continue to pull the thread through, looking for knots. If you do get a knot, don't worry about it. You can try to undo it, or you can cut the thread and just make sure you keep those tails as you go along. So for the next stitch, you'll just turn the card over, go through the hole that was directly next to the one that you just came through, pull the thread all the way out, and then you're going to go back to that center hole. You're going to continue in the same manner all the way around your star. You'll turn your paper over, you'll go in the hole next to the one that you just did, and then go through the center. Now that you've finished the first star, you can move to the second star. You can do it in that same method by starting through the center. You'll still want to go ahead and turn over your card. I'm going to show you a second way. We're going to actually pick one of the holes at the top of the star. In this method, we're going to pull the thread all the way through, and then instead of going into the center, we're going to go ahead and go to the very bottom hole away from that first one. You'll notice that those lines, those dots are in a line. So we'll basically be completing each line one at a time. You'll pull the thread through the same as you did before, and when it's tight, then you can move on to the next one. You'll turn the card over, put the needle through the hole, and just go ahead and pull that out. Then you'll go into the dot directly across from the one that you just put in, again completing those lines across the star. You'll continue in this method all the way around this second star, excuse me. Now you're almost finished. You've completed the 2 stars and you only have 1 left. And you can choose which method you'd like, either by going through the middle, or starting in the middle, or doing the lines. I opted to do the lines just across. So I poked my needle through one of the holes on the reverse side of the card and pull the thread out. I'm going to go in a line directly across from the hole that I just made and go down into the card, making sure that I pull the thread tightly so it looks like a nice, clean, crisp design. I'm going to go ahead and go into the hole next to the one that I went through from the back side of the card. And again, this is just how you do a straight stitch in embroidery. I pull out the thread, and then I'm going to go directly across from that and complete that line. I'll continue in that manner all the way around until I've completed that 3rd star. Now I've completed the card and I'm ready to tie off the thread ends. I'm just going to use a regular square knot, right over left, pull, left over right, to create a secure knot. If you want, you can just tape these down, but by knotting it, it just looks a little nicer. You could also kind of thread the end of that embroidery thread kind of through your embroidery on the back side, and that way you won't need a knot at all. I'd recommend that for somebody who already knows what I'm talking about. Once you've made that knot, go ahead and cut off any excess, and then you're ready to turn it over and see your masterpiece. You can add some embellishments. If you want to add some words to the bottom, either on the left or right side, you could do that. Then you could just go ahead and open your card and write your message. You could do that horizontally or vertically. You have the materials to also do the butterfly card. You'll do it the exact same way. You'll thread your needle. This time you're actually going to use something called a back stitch. You'll just go ahead and pick a hole from the back, pull your needle through all the way. I started here at the top of the butterfly's body. You're going to want to leave that 1 inch of thread on the back side, and then I'm going to poke a hole down in the hole right next to it, pulling the thread all the way through and keeping it really tight so that the body looks nice and crisp and clear. So I'm going to pick that hole right next to where I went before. I'm going to put my needle through it, and then again I'll pull my thread all the way through, keeping it nice and tight and making sure that there aren't any knots. Then I'll put the needle down through the hole and again pull it all the way through to the back side. I'll continue on this way all the way around the body and around the butterfly wings. I hope you liked the craft today. Please join us again.